thought that you already started. No, I'm like, shit, record that because I want to hear
but
this.
as you watch this stuff, right, throughout all of Star Wars, and specifically, when you talk about this kind of like prequel era, and then maybe even before this, this shit lead into the prequel era, but that entire run. One thing that George, I felt like I was watching something and it was talking about the things that the zaniness that, and I was just call it zany instead of saying goofy. A lot of the zaniness that was put in there, right, was really like an entry point for the younger people that were watching to catch the bigger themes that were happening. Right. It was a way for them to get, like, you get everybody inside the circus tent and then you get the real show. Right. So when you start looking at the things of like potential classisms, what's right, what's wrong, choices you make, destiny, all those kind of things are involved. I got Jar Jar happening and doing all this wacky stuff. Right. But that was really to get your attention so that as you can catch these jewels that I'm providing. And as you get older, you can grow with them. Like, because it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of heavy themes.
Yeah.
That were in the original movies, let alone as you start watching the Clone Wars and the 7 seasons of that, right? Was you own your choice, how to treat people, a lot of the things that George gets, we talk about politics and everything and all, and that's like always a hot button topic now, but George is doing that shit in the 70s, right? And how the view of the world. A lot of people had a view of the world, even from that time of like World War II and those World War II babies and Vietnam, era babies and all that who lived through that, right? And then when they made stuff, you can see symbolism all around. And that's no different from George, but like him using the Jar Jars and the such and such this and anything that you might like. Well, that's. As you were older watching it, but that really wasn't for you to get you in. Like you actually got distracted by, and maybe rightfully so, you got distracted by Jar Jar because he didn't ring with you. Like, this is stupid. But I was making like if I'm being George, is like my original thing was I had that, because this movie is heavy. We talking about politics, we talking about democracy, we talking about, like I said, we have classism. It was really for the people that were younger to grow up with those things, and then hopefully it can impact them, right? Not to make it a deep thing. He was like, it was a sub level, and but it was just like, no, I'm putting this stuff in there, but I gotta have this stuff to counteract that.
It's like
so the kids can keep paying attention. Yeah, so the kids. Yeah. But these themes that they're going to get, me being older, probably watching it and seeing like, damn, Darth Maul dope, and then him only having 2 words and getting cut in half. Like that was the one thing I liked about that movie, right? All the other stuff I missed because I was probably mad because Jar Jar was stealing apples.
Right.
But
that's a good point.
Really wasn't like I would have hoped. And that might have been a missed something that George missed. Not probably was. I think that was George. George did definitely miss time that, like, oh, the older people will get that. But I'm doing this. I'm really layering this for the younger people. But what would probably happen, what seemed to happen is, because there's a lot of people that appreciate the prequels and all that stuff more now. And a lot of older people that do like the Acolyte, like those themes. Some of the themes are there. There's layered themes in there. And I like I'm being older, I'm liking the layered themes, but those were in the prequels too. But when I was 24 or 25 watching that, I was mad that I saw Jar Jar and really not still in the space where I can appreciate some of the deeper themes that were in there, especially about choice.
Damn, that's a great parallel, bro. And we talked and we did that last week too, where you said that last week where you kind of drew some parallels. That's a great way to put it. I like you went positive with it. I'm gonna tell you because I draw parallels too, and I think some of the things that the prequels suffer from is some of the things that Acolyte is already suffering from, and that is overindulgence, like what they call it, self-indulgence.
Yeah,
when you just keep like. You probably should have had Jar Jar in the movie for like a few scenes and then put him on to the side to the point where the Clone War, Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, there is no Jar Jar basically.
Yeah,
he had to correct that. Like, damn, and he even said it like I may have gone too far. I think self-indulgence, overindulgence is what we seeing in Acolyte right now with these witches.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you probably could have, like they say, less is more. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like less is more. Like George suffered from this in the first episode 1. It's like,
especially Phantom Menace.
We needed less Jar Jar. Maybe we needed less. You know what I mean? It's a certain economy, right? Like when it comes to the kid stuff and the, like you said, the politics and stuff. But like that's a great way you put it. Like, yeah, he future proofed it to like, I'm gonna get you through the door with this. Because if you a kid, you're right. That is a lot to take. Like that's a lot to see. Like and understand and digest. Like damn. Like wait a minute. What's the trade for? Like what is that? Like what's going on? But you got this goofy.
Why the Gungans underwater? Right. That's a whole classism thing. Right.
Right.
Yeah. Better than
us. They gotta hide in the swamps.
Deeper than what you think.
Yeah. It's deep. It's deep as hell. Like it's great world building. Right. Like it's great world building, but maybe too much self-indulgence from George to where it's like. They like, damn, you know what? Like they might have been watching that first, and this is where the editing come in, and this is where the first trilogy did better than the prequels. Is you got somebody sitting there in the editing process, like, man, George, because exactly what you said, like, man, Jar Jar is a good entry point for kids, man, he good. And then George like, yeah, but I want more Jar Jar. I'm actually gonna add some scenes. Like George, that overindulgence from George can sometimes hurt his movies, and where that was in check in the first trilogy, that it wasn't as much in check in the first and the prequels. What we seeing here in Acolyte is it seems to be an overindulgence in certain aspects. Like we watched this episode 3, and it just seemed like the scene with the witches went on too long, right? For me, like just to get into it, just to start off, like like. I get, because we know, come on, man. Like we've been following Clone Wars all these years, Rebels. We got witches in the first Jedi game. Damn, blanking. Fallen Order. Sorry, and you got a witch in the second game, Survivor,
and the Ahsoka series.
Like it's witches throughout all the recent Star Wars.
Yeah,
but they never lean in too much to where it's like, okay, like you get it, like you get what you watch. You like, oh, they witches, they got powers, and they sort of like frowned upon by the Jedi. They sort of outcast the society. We get that like right away. Where it's like, all right, we don't really necessarily need to see the rituals and all this stuff and the initiation and all this unnatural stuff on camera. We don't necessarily get to see it. We see it enough. Like when Savage Press was created, like we got what was going on. Like, oh shit, that's like when they cured Maul or whatever from his like madness. Like we understood. Like we didn't have to go deep into like. It never felt like, okay, this is about witch. Like it never. You could get it right. Like less is more. Like there was moderation. There was like little hints in there where you was like, oh, okay, I see. Yeah, these witches ain't nothing to play with.
But still kept a mystique about them.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there you go. The mystique. They still maintain the mystique where you was like, damn, man, which is cool. Like, you can live with that. And they were distinct from the Jedi and the Force. This episode 3, where I had the most problems with it is like I said, it's just the self-indulgence, man. Just the like somebody in the editing room got to say like, hey, look, y'all got to let the show kind of breathe. You know what I mean? Like you can't just focus in on this part too much. And it was just like a lot of witches and a lot of like these rituals and stuff like that. And it was like, man, like, hold on, what's going on? Like it's a lot. It was like a lot. And it was like, all right, I could have used less of the witches. Like this really, to me, man, honestly, bro, this could have been a flashback. This could have been like a 10-minute flash. You could have opened up the episode like this. I even expected that. Like I thought this was just gonna be they do it. They open up an episode with a flashback sometimes, and then we get into the current day. But it just kept going. And I'm like,
yeah, it never went current day. That was actually surprising.
Yeah.
Or did it go current day?
What did you think, man? Yeah.
So
what did you think about this?
No, because I thought it was an interesting choice, and that's just a polite way of saying it was weird that the way we left left the previous episode. So I was sitting there like, me, I'm going in like, oh man, we about to see. We had clips about it. Like, are we going to see the Wookiee? Like he about to get synced. So
Especially way to end it,
yeah. So what I'm expecting is, and this, I'm gonna try to go back into your point. What I was expecting was, I was expecting to see this kind of episode, like frame wise, maybe episode 4, episode 5, right? I felt like we were going to go see the Wookiee. So it was definitely an interesting turn to kind of leave that story and come back to this before we go to that, right? To your point, I thought the show was going to begin. And when we saw like we were going back to the past, I thought we was going to get a little piece of the story right before the kind of credits go, right? And then we go to present day. Like maybe we see something, we get a piece of what we see something that actually the Wookiee did that would make May want to come get him. Like he probably did something. So that's why I thought, like, okay, we're going to do this. What I felt from the episode, and this was what kept me engaged. And I may come back to this and be like, oh damn, they did that. But what it felt like was that, and I wrote it in my note when I was watching it, like it felt like we were part of the jury as the audience, and we were getting the prosecution's case.
Nice.
Right. Because there's a lot of empty spots in there.
Right?
There's empty spots. So as they present the case, but they don't have all the evidence. And I'm hoping that's what it is, and we don't come back and be like, wow, y'all edited like that, like y'all
a certain point of view,
is this a point of view? This is a point of view, and more because this show is it's a binary situation. It's a duality show, right?
Yeah,
May Osha, right?
Clearly,
and then we get the situation with Master Soul and Endara versus was it Mother Anisha and Korel, right? Both of them are kind of both mirror images of each other, right? Soul and Anisha kind of seem like they the same. Endora and Korel seem like they will be the kind of same versions of what they are via Jedi. So we're getting a lot of that. And this makes me think we're going to get another episode similar to this.
That works.
It's going to be from the side of May. That's her. So and then like at the end of this, it's like we're made to have to make a decision, for lack of better, more sophisticated way of saying this, of who is right. But at the end of the day, that's what I took it as. Like I felt like I was a jury member getting presented the beginning of the case, and it was really personified in that scene at the end where we see Saul coming rushing back up, or when he gets Osha, and he was saying to the point where like May didn't make it, right? Mm-hmm. And then they walking past and they seeing all those dead bodies, all those bodies laid out that wasn't burnt, right? Yeah. Those non-burnt bodies that they didn't die from a fire, but we don't see what happened, right? So I'm like, there's going to be obviously there's going to be another version of that, but how is that version going to be presented? From
I think they
finishing the story, or from the fill in the blanks is the real story, or is the fill in the blanks May version of the events.
Yeah,
right?
I think they fill in
No,
the blanks.
we just look at it as from an unreliable narrator kind of standpoint.
Right. That's exactly
the show is layered. And I want to go back to your point, or it appears to be layered. And I want to go back to your point because, right, you're right. That's a lot. That's an awful lot. And sometimes there does need to be a balance of spaceships shooting at each other, of lightsabers lightsabers happening, or some kind of scrap, or some kind of this, right? Because if you don't have that, that's a lot to digest, and you really have to seal the deal when it comes time to the reveal. Look how the Jedi came up. Is that really how the Jedi approached?
Yeah,
or that was wild. Because that was wild.
It was like, hey, what are you doing?
Sneaking in the woods.
Yeah.
Boys.
Who there? Like that shit. Yeah, that was wild. And then when they try to hide the kids, there's no kids here. Wook, like, there's kids. I'm a Wookiee. It's definitely kids. Definitely hiding kids behind that cloak now. Quit playing with me. Yeah. What's his name? I keep calling him Wook. His name is
Kanaka. I think it's
Kill Naka, right? Yeah, Kill Naka.
Yeah.
Dumbass name. No, just playing. Kill Naka. Yeah. Because whenever it's a Wookiee, they always got a Chewbacca. I remember,
dude got the gun, don't it?
Yeah, I remember Chewbacca's nephew.
Tarful had a.
His name was Lobaka, and in Legend.
Also,
He
they
was a
played
Jedi
my
too.
man in Fallen Order when they gave him
What's his name?
Tarful.
Oh shit, yeah, damn, it's a good one. What's the other one name that's out there somewhere?
Black Crescent.
Nah, not him. The Jedi Wookiee. Jedi Wook, the one that's the
Oh,
current day.
Gunji.
Gunji. Yeah,
Yeah,
young.
Gunji.
I like
I'm gonna
Gunji.
I'm gonna need Kilnaka to do something to replace Gunji. Because right now, Gunji my guy, and I'm gonna need you to do something to make you more important to me than Gunji, so I don't get mad at Bad Batch for final season and not bringing Gunji back. Right?
Yeah, I
don't even know what's happening
man.
with Gunji. But
Gunji
I
could be
digress.
I think Gunji going dub because they're going to dub using, like you said, nobody's on the set just for one thing. That dude, this basketball player guy that got playing Kel Naka, he was Chewy in the movie in the sequel trilogy. He might end up being Gunji. Yeah, because he seemed like to be like the resident Wookiee actor. Yeah. He probably if Gunji be able to get a live action appearance, he probably pop up again. But yeah, just continue on, man. What did you think? So all right, so not because I don't want to move on from let's wrap. I don't want to move on from what happened in the episode, right?
Yeah.
But like I said, I made my point about just a little too much and overindulgence on certain parts. But what did you think about the execution? Because we understand what happened, right? Like you said, I think you're right. There's a lot of duality here. This is an unreliable narrator. There seems to be some blanks. There's some weird time jumps. Something wasn't right about the how she lit up the castle. It's like she was just like she lit up the book and then poof, the castle go up. Like that was wild. And the way that happened, it's like, is that really what Osha saw? Or that like was that what she remembered? We remember things differently when we kids, when we young kids.
100%.
So she might have, because it's in her mind still to the current day, is that she thinks that just her sister murdered everybody. Her sister murdered her family, burned up everything, and she's to the point where she she shot at her. So she definitely look at her as like,
that's a good question.
But we also got obvious parts where, like you said, it's heavy-handed, where they really drive home the point that May is like evil. And May is also very much obsessed with her sister doing what she does, whereas her sister Osha resists doing what, like, the same thing that her sister May does. So it's like they're making, I mean, they're like, it's on the nose, right? Like it's on the nose that
on the nose.
She torturing animals. She really want her sister to conform to the life of a witch, and her sister is resisting it the entire way through. I don't want to be a witch. I don't want to do this.
Yeah. And to the point where she don't want to do that with her sister. Like she says,
she don't want to be around her sister.
Be with May.
Yeah, she look at her sister like, you're weird. I don't want to. Something not right about you. I don't want to be around you. Like she constantly trying to get away from her sister, and she like immediately idolizes the Jedi. And I think you brought up a good point. Heavy-handed. It was very heavy-handed. Like they drove that home. Like, okay, I get it. Her sister want to be a witch. Osha wants to be a Jedi. She definitely don't want to do what her sister and her mothers are doing, and the witches are doing. She don't want to.
Yeah. She don't want none of that action.
She very much resistant to that and very much unsure about the ritual and all that. Where her sister is, for lack of a better word, she with the shits.
She with everything.
Lil May with the shits, like down ready for whatever. Like she bought into it 100%. So, but yeah, what did you think about that, and what did you think about how that was executed on screen? Like, what did you think of that?
Well, so to your point, the way May was talking, right? The way May was talking, the first thing I thought, right, the way she was saying, like I can't remember the exact word, but just say, I'm not gonna let you leave. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna do this, right? The way she was talking just makes me think that's somebody's memory.
Yeah,
how they see it. Again, I'm sticking with the unreliable narrator. I'm gonna look like an idiot if it's not, right? I'm look like an idiot if it's not. But I felt like we're going and it's weird. So I'm thinking like at first I'm like, we're going a deep way of showing light and dark, right? But I'm not really convinced that it was like that Osha was light, but I'm hella convinced that May was dark.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm not convinced, like, whether we can call it execution, whatever it was. I'm not like, yo, May's making the light choice, right? But what I am seeing is I'm seeing attachment. I'm not May, but Osha's making the light choice. But what I am seeing with May is attachment, control, those kind of things that are the thing they told us about. They spent a whole 3 movies and 7 seasons of Clone Wars telling us about Anakin, right?
Oh, it's rife with dark side.
Yeah, that's how she's moving. And I felt like, and that's why I'm still sticking with the it being the POV kind of situation as opposed to like top down view, right? All of like NFL, all 22 tape, but we're really just seeing our highlights that ESPN want to show for Sports Center, right? For certain players,
right?
We're seeing a lot of we're seeing a lot of the things about May, but we're not really, to me, seeing a lot of the things that we didn't really see a side of Osha that would make me even want to know why she would want to be a Jedi, right? Why she's fascinated by that. I just know that she don't want to do what they doing. Anybody could have showed up like based on the way it was, and she would have wanted to do that, right?
Yes,
but it's obvious that the Jedi, there's obviously something shaking because the Jedi sensed something in what's supposed to be an inhabitable world, right?
Yeah,
Nobody like the only ones on it. They sensed something. They knew something. And
it's like the fringes of the galaxy. It seemed like outside of
so they know something weird is going on with these, let alone the witches, but the nature of the twins. Let me ask you about this though. When it comes to the or maybe I have more of a statement as opposed to like a question, but it's about the coven, right? Because they were saying that they are a persecuted bunch. We're made to believe that they really are like that, right? Like, but to your point earlier, we've seen a bunch of witches. We've seen a lot of stories about this one group, a lot of places, like you say, Clone Wars, Fallen Order, Survivor, hell. There's even a little snippet about them in Rebels. That's how we got the Darksaber. And then we get to the point with Ahsoka where they got a whole nother plan. We see where they from, but they always had a stomping ground. Like we seen Obi and them when they were trying to find out about Savage, they went to Dathomir, right? The Jedi wasn't the ones that wiped out the Dathomirians. It was the Separatists, right? It was Grievous and all, and we saw that, and we saw that in again. Let's ask another one. We saw it in Tales of the Empire. We saw another group that had their own coven on Dathomir, right? They weren't removed from Dathomir. They were allowed to even live peacefully until Morgan did something wild. Morgan got wild, and the daughter got taken out from the other group. I say all that to say we don't see them making them leave where they were from, right? This group, but this the group that's persecuted. So are they truly persecuted, right? Are they really persecuted, or is there more going on than that? Oh, we got to go world to world and people doing this, but like, really? Because we've never seen that before. They let them live on Dathomir.
Yeah.
And they were using the Force. There's another version of it. So that's not even like an excuse, right? Meaning the Night Sisters. They were using their magic, but it was another version of it. It was the Force.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always been the point of contention, right? With the idea of which is that they use a different type of the Force, and that's kind of the point of contention here. Is like, they using the Force, but remember, go back to the opening, and the opening there wasn't a crawl, but there was words that said a small group uses the Force in secret, or sort of hinting at these witches. And even though this is 16 years ago, we gotta assume that the witches been there way longer than that.
Yeah,
they just they only recently came up with the kids. I say that to say, it's a little bit more of a focus on, like, they using the Force. They're not using the green magic, the green they're not bringing, they're not reanimating corpses, and they're not creating like monsters. And even though it's a Zabrak there, one of the sisters was a Zabrak, right? What's her name?
Coral.
Coral. Yeah,
Might be Carol, but I'm going with Coral.
So I thought that was interesting too. Like, damn,
that threw me. I was like, oh, we got to like
what's the connection with Zabrak? Like they always they always kind
of ain't too far in the past to be like we already, because we just seen that. We know they come from Peridia. Filoni told us that, right? Filoni told us that, and that was they charted with the space whales. So that's before 100 years, right? Like they charted the hyperspace lanes with the space whale. That's the start of the Republic.
Yeah, but
before the Republic. But I'm just saying from a timeline standpoint. My bad.
Right. Now, just to finish what I was saying, I think the reason the Jedi are there for a reason, but the Jedi there because it seemed like it's more they're clearly using the Force. They're like doing Force pushes and stuff, and the stuff they doing is like they can't hide it as much as like the other witches could have hit it. You know what I mean? Like they clearly using the Force to do stuff, and now they see these kids there, and they like. It's always been a thing. It's like we gotta get them kids back to Coruscant because y'all can't train kids in the Force. You know what I mean? That could be dangerous. You know what I mean?
You know what I need? I'm gonna get a theory flag. I'm letting my flag. I'm slapping my flag down. I'm gonna tell you why they there.
Go ahead.
Because one of them 4 is the Sith Lord. That is the Phantom Menace. One of those 4 Jedi is the Phantom Menace, and they sense the disturbance in the Force because the Night Sisters those are my bad. The Coven, whatever they call, but the Coven use the dark side, been using the dark side in the creation. They got some old Sith secrets, and if anybody gonna know, it's gonna be some witches. And what they were using created the baby, but one of those 4 sensed the disturbance.
All right, bet. Let's plant the flags then. All right.
I need a flag.
I like your theory. Your theory is sound. Let me give you mine, because I think we messing with separate entities here. I think we got 3 entities going here. I don't think they met the Sith yet. I think we got the Jedi, we got these sisters, and then we got the Sith that's gonna come in and get the secrets from because the Coven gone now. 16 years later, they're gone. They wiped them out.
Yeah.
So whatever knowledge that they only lives through the sisters. How they was able to create life and all that, I think that's gonna play a part.
Yeah.
I think I think the Sith Lord, which is probably the one kid, the shop owner guy.
Koji, whatever his name is.
What's his name? I think he got something to do with it. He wanted it too, or maybe he won. But I think you're saying that you think one of them is one of the Jedi is a Sith Lord.
I think so. The shopkeep dude, Kanju, whatever his name was, I just had his name. But my man that was helping May out, right? Yeah, I think he's the one with the acolyte, right? He's gonna be the one in the helmet. But he has a Sith Lord, right? Damn. Obviously, he had the ruler too. He has a Sith Lord
because that's what this. Okay,
he has the Sith Lord. So we have the master, and we have the apprentice, and the yeah. I think my man is the apprentice, one of those 4 Jedi. One of those 4 Jedi. And let's just put it out in the word. Let's put it out there. Soul for me.
You think Soul?
I think Soul is the
man. That would be,
I got Soul.
That would be such a heel turn, bro. If Soul is the one,
because that him when they went down and he went to go save those girls. Now I'm probably totally wrong, but I got to plant the flag.
Yeah.
When he went to go save those girls, and it's like all of a sudden it's like a frame, some frames missing, and all of a sudden he couldn't save May, right? And everybody's laid out.
Yeah.
And everybody's laid out. I think he's the one. I couldn't be more confident that he's actually the one, right? He's actually the one, but he's the one that sensed the disturbance. And now they got to get rid of everybody, right? They got to get in there and like they're going in order, but he would definitely be the last one, right? And they ain't gonna get got. But at the end of the day, it obviously clean up his steps. But at the end of the day, I forgot why my point was when we were talking about, but that's why they showed up. A disturbance in the Force was noticed in an inhabitable world.
Yeah,
it's not like and that'll be kind of interesting to know. Like I don't have a lot of legends, right? I don't have legends and EU like kind of like storyline of how they notice force sensitive children. I remember when they, remember when
I mean, they send out like envoys out throughout the and then like whatsoever within the realm of like the Republic. So they got all, it's a big galaxy, obviously. So
and that's why Qui-Gon said we would have noticed you because we already even though like it's kind of been known in this kind of like High Republic that they have all these outposts, but the outposts are not a new concept for Star Wars Jedi. Like they would have already like there would already been Jedi around somewhere in the Republic that if Anakin was in the Republic, somebody would have noticed him as opposed to like, I sense Vader is in grave danger. Like that's what this is to me. That's what this is.
But here's where so here's where our theories meet. I like where you going with pause. I like where you going with they sense a disturbance in the force. Here's my thing. Yes, I think they do. But like always, the Sith always in the back lurking. I think the Sith also recognizes there's a disturbance in the force. And they're gonna, just like we always got this duel of fates going on.
Yeah.
Like you said, you think it's soul. I think it's separate. I think the Sith are there. We just ain't seen them yet. They showed up too. Yeah, they're aware of what's going on too. It's just a matter of what you left behind. I'm gonna get in it. You took one of the sisters thinking the other one was dead. Now, okay, I'm gonna take the evil sister now. So I think that's where the Sith get the evil sister and train her up. It's only 16 years. It's not like it's this 40-year gap. I think the Sith will show up on that planet and rescue because I think they realized it was a disturbance in the force as well, and that's some unnatural occurrence that happened.
That's dope that you say that because one of the things I thought when I was thinking about my theory was that with it being soul was that that in terms of like because I actually think he may have thought this other one was gone or whatever. Let me change that. I erase that from the record. But what he thought he can do with Osha, he could do better with the training and all that stuff that he was going to be able to do inside the Jedi Order. That he was going to be able to get her more prepared inside the Jedi Order, and then whatever the reason that she felt like she needed to leave and all that stuff, and we'll get to that point. But I felt like he thought he could be better by keeping her close, and he wasn't going to reveal himself. Pause. It wasn't time to show like that he was the Sith Lord yet. So we're gonna do this inside the establishment, and that's how I saw that what he was doing with Osha. We were doing this. I'm continuing to have this going on inside the establishment, and I could do this better right here. And whatever I'm gonna need to do with her, and then something shook at that time, and again we don't know how long they've been back in contact. Maybe he been. I don't got a better word for this. This is a negative. Maybe they've been grooming May the entire time too, like have been grooming her up. I don't know, but I don't have that part figured out yet. But my part I had figured out in my mind was that what they were doing with Osha, he could feel like he could do better without giving up his cover, and he could do it. So that's why I'm at today. After I'm out today, and it was based on especially that ending. In the with that ending of the whatever the generator faulty generator and damn Star Wars, that faulty generator, and then all of a sudden everybody's dead with no wounds, with no burns. That was him.
I still wonder how they would because I mean the obvious thing that we're supposed to think is we know the Jedi did something, right? Like we got to know that the dude ingested poison. And you know what I mean? He basically committed,
Oh, he said like we thought we were doing.
We thought we was doing the right things. Like so
maybe they took that because they keep kind of bringing that up.
Right. That's a good point.
Not to overstep your point.
Like we see these bodies, but there's no missing limbs. There's no obvious lightsaber burns. Plus, the witches can defend themselves. In a fight,
they use the force as a defense. Remember, like you say, this ain't like the dark magic. Like
they throwing Hadoukens, like force Hadoukens. But it's like,
you're right. Exactly.
So that would have been tough for the Jedi, man. Especially like she already locked the old boy up. Hey, if you want your Padawan to get his right mind. So for her to seize him up like that, that's when I'm starting to like. I'm like, hopefully there's got to be something else. There's something else here. Like, how did they all die? Because I
because
don't
they
know
got
if
the
it's as
power to
obvious
defend
as like the
themselves.
Jedi just hacked them down. Like I don't think the Jedi would have
Yeah.
made it. Like that's a lot of witches to try to take out who got force push magic, and they can seize you up. They can like mentally they can get you like so it's like plus old girl, the two moms was like the one mom was definitely with the shits. Coral.
What was the
She
line
couldn't
they
wait.
was
She was
saying?
chomping at the bit, like
She wanted some work.
she wanted work. So it's like
She wanted some work. And they had a line in there when it was like, basically like when she was like, I created a child, I carried the child, but what if they find out how? Something to that effect. Right. But yeah, you're right. Back to that. It's like those witches could have defended themselves. This ain't even like, but see, like when Grievous and them showed up, it wasn't just Grievous, man. He showed up with all battle droids and everything. Like they outnumbered them.
Right.
They outnumbered them.
Yeah,
It was just
he had
4 Jedi and a
two
Jedi
and I think
yeah.
one master out of all of them. Like they wasn't
They had
all
a
masters.
Padawan.
Yeah.
They had a Padawan, and like you
He
say,
clearly was compromised immediately. So it's like,
yeah.
you know what? Let me ask you about this part though. That kind of caught my eye real quick. Because when we bring up the Padawan, it made me think the young bull who they just slapped a beard on him 16 years later. Yeah, boss, but I don't know why they was like, but he did some sneaky stuff, man. Like
He had the Kenobi beard.
Yeah,
Episode 2.
that was wild. Like y'all could have recast, y'all could have just cast somebody else for the older version. But he did something that I felt was kind of like a violation, man. This is what I mean about like I hope this wasn't like shabby writing, because it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff about I notice about High Republic Jedi. They very much about their appearance. Even in the Survivor game, you had all these fancy lightsabers. You didn't see that in the Clone War era Republic. You didn't see that in the Old Republic either, where people would literally put all this thought into the design of their lightsaber. Same thing with the robes. They wear like these High Republic robes that are really bright and look like majestic almost, right? Like they really stick out. That's usually something that the Sith would do, right? Like the Sith are like inward. They focus. They all about the physical, all about appearance. That's why they wear masks and they wear like robes and armor and stuff like that. Like that's what the Sith do. I wonder if that's because I didn't read the books. I didn't read any of the High Republic books, but I wonder if it's a reason for that. And are we going, since this is the end of the High Republic, are we going to find out, is there a reason for that? And I say all that to relate to my point is, when we see all this stuff, I kind of lost my train of thought, but going back to my original, I was saying about the kid, what he did was he immediately he was like, when Osha gets on the ship, before she do anything, he like, that was my point. It's okay. My point was why I went on why I brought up the appearance and all that stuff and the way that the Jedi are acting is because is there a reason? Does this relate to the downfall? Because they were so just like they were violating on so many levels. Like they were just so arrogant and so like abrasive and just entitled to like stuff. Is that gonna play a part? Because they doing just like wild stuff. Like they just snap of a finger, they like you know what I mean? They like Jedi mind tricking you, or in this case, they just he take her blood. He didn't even ask her like, hey. He didn't even explain to her like
this might hurt.
Go back to because mirror back to episode 1 when he got the because what he was doing, he was checking her midichlorians. They didn't want to say it, but that's what he was doing. Then he didn't just grab Anakin and was like he kind of like asked Anakin like, he explained it to him like, I'm gonna take your blood and I want to see your midichlorian count. Was it just the Padawan being inexperienced, or is this a problem with the Jedi, or is this just shabby writing where they not really gonna explain it? It's just, or is it somebody writing that don't understand Jedi and they don't understand Star Wars, or is this intentional along with the robes and the fancy lightsabers? Is this all intentional to show that the Jedi of this era had a problem with overstepping their boundaries? Is what I'm going. Where I'm going.
And again, not trying to shoot at Bell, but I'm going with the latter of what you just said. Right. Again, it's supposed to be a show that shows us kind of the looking at. I just think it's an overall POV show, but it's like I always look at literal like POV of the Sith, right? Like, so we're gonna see how conniving the Sith is and all that. I don't think that's what this show is intended to be. It's more of like how the Sith are seeing the Jedi in their ways, right? And you good?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So because I was like, wow, like because the only Jedi right now that has any sort of bedside manners right now is Soul.
Yeah.
Right. Where he actually would talk to you.
Yeah,
like
he
what we
explained,
think a Jedi would be, right? And then we see like
he got
again,
anecdotes and stuff where he like,
he got
when I was a boy, no, like,
yeah, I'd
he
want to
actually
join. Like if I was in that position,
like, yeah, right. He like a great recruit. Whereas
Yeah.
in what's her name? In Dar, it's like
Dar.
typical cold Jedi, like,
yeah,
she
especially at this time.
respectful, but she like, we got to do this, you know, like, let's move on with the next step. Like, whereas Soul is like, and this is the thing though. This is where I'm now, what I think lends credence to what you said about your theory about he could possibly be a Sith Lord. He's super emotional, and he's super attached. Like, he very like all those characters, all those
called that out early.
Yeah,
in episode
all those
1 about his attach.
All those characteristics you can technically apply to Palpatine. Palpatine was
Man,
like super attached to Anakin.
Headspace was. I ain't even think about that part, but I did say that in my mind. Like, this is like Palpatine.
Yeah, he like super like he immediately
from a
is like
charismatic standpoint.
Yeah, like he immediately is attached to like one of the twins. Like, did somebody tell you to fail this test? Like, he didn't do that with May. He knew she had failed the test, but he already had a plan. Like, if the other girl come in here and fail the test, I'm gonna trick her. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get her to tell me the truth. He let May get away with that.
Yeah,
because she went in there and lied about everything. He's like, oh, okay.
And they would have known something was sweet by going after the blood. They did the same exact thing.
That's
like, come on now.
I was hoping they would follow up with that. One, because I wanted to hear him say midichlorians.
Yeah.
Two, I wanted to see how high that count was.
I want to know that count.
I want to know if it's close to Anakin, it's close to Yoda, because that's interesting. You know what I mean? That's like, damn. You know what I mean? How powerful? Because that's the thing. Let me ask you this: do you think? I don't think either one of the twins is like that powerful. Like, I don't think they like chosen one levels. I think I think they interesting they're interesting to the Jedi because and the Sith because it appears they was made out of pure force energy or whatever. Or again, but like you said, there could be a subversion of expectation because we think it's one thing. Like, we think it's like, oh, because the like prevailing theory out there is they did what Anakin did, or they did what they did with Anakin, but I'm like, bro, to do that, you would be super powerful. Like, if you was just made out of like Anakin was made, like, or you just created out of the Force, that's gonna come with a high level of power. This just seems like they created two twins who exhibit like dark and light, right? But I don't know if they super powerful either, man. They're not like even in the flashback, we don't, and they like older kids. They're not like toddlers. When she pushed them back, like, your enemy will never, like, they didn't catch that and was like, I mean, they did eventually, but they wasn't doing. What I'm saying is they wasn't exhibiting what like Anakin was exhibiting, where he was racing. He was a pod racer about it. You know what I mean? They seem like they live in a regular life. Like, they just regular kids. They not like making stuff. They playing with the Force and all that stuff. Like, they, she like tortured the animal and stuff like that. They can do that, but she ain't like lifting up trees and throwing them and stuff like that. Like, they're not like super powerful.
No.
So I'm really just saying all that to say, like, I don't think that's necessarily what's going on here, is that they like Anakin. I really don't believe that. Like, I don't think they're pure force energy or whatever, or like pure force beings or whatever. I think they was created some unnatural way, and that's why she wanted to keep that a secret. But I don't think it's the same thing we saw with Palpatine and Plagueis and Anakin. What do you think about that? That's
100%.
Yeah, I don't think that's what people want. They running with, but I don't think that's the case.
I would think, and this goes into like the whole deeper kind of thing about Force correcting itself, right? But I think what Palpatine and Plagueis was doing was purposely manipulating the Force, right? Where what these were doing is they were concocting something that resulted in these two twins that just happened to have force abilities, that have some kind of midichlorian count. I want to go back to the midichlorian count thing. You think they go say midichlorian or M count?
Because they've said M
Like,
count recently, right?
yeah,
They
because
gonna
M
say
count is the thing they use now.
My answer is M count because I really wanted to, because I was trying to place.
I want to see midichlorian.
No, I want to hear it. They never gonna say midichlorian. It's gonna be M count. But I'm trying to remember when was the last time I heard M count. Have we heard M count since Disney took over?
Bad Batch.
There we go. So we got it. All right, we got it.
They said it a lot of season 3, but
it's gonna be M count.
But they specifically said M count. Mandalorian is saying M count. I want to hear midichlorian.
But the fact that survived through all this, through the acquisition and all that of Star Wars, the fact that they went back to M count, because midichlorians was controversial. I was outside, bro. When it came
that's what I wanted to
controversy with that, bro.
That's what I wanted.
A lot of controversy to the point where you really don't hear it throughout the rest of the prequel trilogy. You don't hear it come up, like you said. You don't really hear that again until Bad Batch. It was a lot of controversy, but the fact that it survived this long is incredible to me.
It's actually a big deal when they did it in Mandalorian with Grogu, because they said M count.
Yeah, there we go.
They said M count.
So it's gonna be M count.
The midichlorian,
but the fact that concept remains.
That's what I'm saying.
Post sale, it did not have to. You don't have to say M count. You don't have to acknowledge it. It didn't have to survive. The shit could have been technically legends. Granted, yes, we see it. We know that if you watch the prequels, it's there in that first movie, but you really can ignore it. Like, you didn't have to bring that back. But the fact that that's just like, well, damn, that just go to show you again, like y'all didn't appreciate it when it came, you know what I mean? But like
to the second one came out.
to the second one came out. Now y'all understand what George was trying to do with that. M count sounds, and in my opinion, M count is like kind of like an improvement. But like you said, I do want to hear midichlorian.
I want to hear midichlorian.
I would love to hear midichlorians.
I want to hear. I didn't think about that.
But it's probably gonna be M count though. It's probably gonna be M count.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be M count. But
and I want to know the numbers.
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see that the same way, considering for the fact that now this could turn into a whole kind of like slippery slope of a whole nother version of Project Necromancer, right? Where it's like how do we get to the point where, you know, Palpatine returned and like we keep tracking it back? So like I'm not but my point is I'm trying to say like we could this can have some like I actually don't think this is it either, but it could on paper. I would think that Palpatine as this Palpatine and Plagueis and Palpatine saw that this was remotely possible, right? And then they did it their way, but the only thing they did was created the chosen one. So them trying to create more power for the Sith, they created something that would destroy the Sith, right? And manipulating the Force, and some of the origins may come from what they're doing, but I think what they're going to get is this stew that these witches made, that ultimately, because it's always a stew, right? When it comes to witches, the stew that the witches made was already something that was like a one of those secrets a lost secret of the Sith, right? Lost secret of the dark side that's able to resurface, but it's already there. They just unearthed it, and to be able, because they tried different things to get children, and then they came across this. Because at first in my mind there's a dark figure in the back that was saying, I can help you with this, right? You can't do it, none of the other stuff working. This will work, right?
They done got their hands on some knowledge. We might we might see a holocron pop up or something.
Yeah, like
my bad.
You know what I'm saying? No, 100%. And I think this is something that they have, and it. Oh man, actually, damn, that's kind of dope. Now I'm gonna be salty if I don't see a holocron. They done got their hands.
But I'm thinking now, like, man, that conversation was weird, because like she's like, how they recreate, you know what I mean? Don't let it get out what if they find out how you create? And that tells me the Sith. What would the Jedi be pissed about more than you messing with some Sith, not some like ancient Sith, not? Because at that point 100%. We still talking about that 1,000 years. We still within that 1,000 years. 100%. Even 100, you know what I mean? We still for them, it'll be like, oh, we ain't seen the Sith in 900 years or 800 years and whatever. You know what I mean? But
100%.
it's like almost 1,000 years. So for them,
It's
anybody doing something with the Sith is like would alert them. And even though they witches and they you know they doing stuff with the Force, all it takes is that one holocron and it'd be like, oh, ooh, we want children. Well, let's just do it this way. We not Sith.
There's always this one way.
Yeah. See, now I'm thinking, man, like, there's some little theories popping out of this show. We not under the Republic. I don't have to follow your rules. I can do what I want. Now, like I said, they using the Force in secret, but that's technically not against the law. The laws are, you know what I mean? The Jedi don't, they don't have no jurisdiction. Like they don't have they're not doing anything that would, that should be alerting the Jedi. Like even if they witches and they practicing with the Force, it's like, yeah, but we doing what we want. The only thing that they would definitely want to keep, other than the kids, is if they was using Sith, some type of Sith alchemy or something, you know, to do something unnatural.
I like the way you say that, unnatural.
Yeah, unnatural. So, and it's clearly something unnatural. You know, they done created twins, and yeah. And that's the thing about why I didn't freak out about this. I didn't freak out ever about this because I was like, look, man, you can't, like, people was getting, you know, like up in arms about like, oh, this mess with canon and all this. I'm like, bro, these are some fringe witches in the High Republic. They're not progenitors of the Force. They're not creating any and especially with this theory now that we just brought up with, like, they probably got some Sith knowledge. Other than that, they're not creating nothing. Like, this is the High Republic. We still can go way farther back. I'm pretty sure there's witches that preceded these witches, but even when you think about the old Republic, they was doing stuff in the Force way back. Now, if this was in that Dawn of the Jedi movie, I would be more like, wait a minute, what you saying now? Like, what? Hold on, y'all kind of changing the canon around. But bro, this is 140 years later or earlier. Sorry, this isn't something that, you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying?
We're not talking about the Jedi from Tython.
Thank you. Yeah, there's no origins. There's no real origins here. This is a story about some fringe witches who was using the Force. That don't have any bearing on Anakin or granted, they might end up, maybe this is where the seeds was planted to, like, oh, I can do stuff with like you said, would you say with Plagueis and Palpatine, where it's like we gonna manipulate the Force to the point, maybe. But still,
yeah, it would just be like it wasn't the first attempt.
Yeah, right, exactly. But
Palpatine and them.
Yeah, I don't see the canon thing. Yeah, I just don't see that, bro. I don't see this being a challenge to the canon or a change to the canon or no. These are just some witches who got theory, like that whole stuff with the thread and all that stuff, bro. That's their interpretation. 100%. It's not. Again, I'll be more. You put that in the Dawn of the Jedi movie, then I'm like, is that what George wanted? But here I'm like, who knows what theories in a world like, or a galaxy like this, a universe like this, who knows how many theories there were on the Force? You get what I'm saying? Like, some people, like, they had the group in what was the one, the blind dude in
Turret.
Yeah, the blind dude.
That group from Jeddah. What did they call them? I know what you're talking about. I just watched the thing on them.
In Rogue Squadron, right? Or not Rogue. Rogue One.
Yeah, my man.
You had that group. You had groups, and I know in Legends you had groups that followed the Sith. They wasn't Sith lords, but they kind of like worshiped the Sith. So you're gonna have a bunch of little fringe groups that's outside of Republic, or that's feared by or that's like frowned upon by the Republic. That don't change canon, bro. Like, the canon is the canon. Like, the canon is there was a chosen one. He was prophesized to destroy the Sith and bring balance to the Force. He did that. Destroyed the Sith. They never came back. They still have yet to come back. They never gonna come back.
Yeah.
If we follow the sequel trilogy, even with Palpatine, that wasn't the Sith didn't return. Yeah, Palpatine somehow returned, but that wasn't the Sith. He didn't come back and take an apprentice and start taking. The Sith never came back. So the prophecy is fulfilled and it don't change. I just had to put that in there. Like, the canon is not changed. Like, These just some witches who got their own theories on or their own interpretation and
bro,
threads and all this stuff. Like, bro, that's their interpretation of the Force. That doesn't make it the origin story.
And that's like one of the themes of this episode. Even the lady said it is like the thing about the like you say, the kind of the interpretation of Force. That's always been a problem that people had with the Jedi. Was like they think the Force is theirs, right? They think the Force is theirs, so they come in to see anybody.
The Force perceives them. The Force perceives. The reason in Legends, they didn't make it canon. This is Legends, but in Legends, the whole reason that the galaxy was put together was from Force users. They was called like I think you pronounced it the Rakatans. The Rakatans. Yeah. They were like this alien force. They were like the first civilization.
Yeah,
ancient. They created these mega structures that lasted all the way up until like present day. You know what I mean? But they created all these mega structures and stuff through using the Force. They wasn't Jedi. They wasn't trying to keep the peace. They didn't use lightsabers.
Yeah.
So that's something that the Jedi got to understand. It's like, hey, bro, it's cool that y'all made this order and y'all had these lightsabers and y'all ended up bonding with the Republic and y'all kept the peace. But the Force precedes you.
Yeah.
The Force was around before you were around. And really before life in the galaxy was around, the Force was there.
Yeah.
So, or that might be technically not true. Like life, because life is supposed to be like, you know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying? Like,
life and then Devin is
so you kind of need life to do but technically everybody got the Force, but yeah, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's true. Yeah, that's always been a thing. And that was in Legends too. It's like, hey man, y'all don't the Force is not y'all. It's not yours. It's Force is everywhere. Like, y'all don't own the Force.
The one thing I would, to your point that we start talking about this earlier, the one thing I would like to see from a Star Wars perspective, like as we move forward, is to just like pick it up a little bit, right? Because we still need to know why the High Republic Jedi would be dope, and that's what I'm saying. Like some things happening, whether it's some battles, whether you start the show and end the show with some battles. I would like to see that, especially like coming off such, because you actually made a choice to let two young actors basically carry the show, right? Which is, I mean, that's a chance you take. I mean, George did it with young Anakin. Right. It was like, and sometimes with that you get boom, and they blow you up. You get
you have some in this episode too, though.
What I'm saying, Shorty,
I don't like you. Jedi are good. No, the Jedi are evil. No,
you had some and they blow you up moments in there. That was the episode, right? It was a lot of that.
That's so many parallels, man. That's wild.
You get that, man. That's what I was saying. Like, man, hey, blow you up. That's like my line for. I know he said a bunch of other things, but like that's like the epitome of like you get the smooth shit with Liam Neeson and Qui-Gon that he just like this
blow you up.
Gentleman. And then there's the other part of the movie where it's like
what I said the only time his best lines was when he was speaking Huttese or whatever. He was speaking.
He was nice with that, right?
Delivered them lines. That was his best lines. What like you said, it's like
English was the second
language. You could almost say English might not have been his. I'm talking about the character Anakin. English basic might not have been his first language. He might have been naturally like speaking that Hutt language. Like that might have been his first language. To the point.
That's funny
because the way he was delivering them lines compared to his Huttese, to me, like I said, I just think the show it lacks a gravitas. It doesn't. I'm still waiting for it to like the wow factor. It's just not there. I feel like it's honestly, bro. If I had to be honest, I really think they kind of made this almost assuming that you read the books, and it's like y'all know everybody ain't read them books.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It feel like that. It feel like this don't feel like the first show live action High Republic show. This feel like the third or fourth. Like we already just used to this universe. This part,
we into the saga.
This era. Yeah, like no, y'all need to. You got to present, like you said, you got to present this and explain to us why these Jedi are dope. Like you can't just poof, like put them on screen and then we just like, oh yeah, I know who that is. Like. No, you got a world build here, and you gotta come with a certain gravitas to where we like, damn, man, look at the High Republic, man. Like, damn. Like, I think Survivor even did that better. Survivor was like, shit. Like, when you got them weapons and you got them devices from the old Republic, and when you went to that planet, what's it called again? What's the name of that planet, man? They ended up
planet, man. This is what I'm about to ask you about.
That was like, nah, but that was crazy. That was a nice planet. Like, damn, like Tanalorr, yeah. Name's kind of wild, but yeah, Tanalorr was like, damn, look at that. Like, look at this.
You said this though when the game was out. I know you posed that question, and I thought as I've watched 3 episodes, and I'm like, and it really coming to fruition as I'm replaying Fallen Order, right?
Oh yeah.
Y'all make a sheet work. No, I'm on Dathomir now. I'm on Dathomir.
Okay, yeah.
I finally figured out how to get multiple stems and everything. I ain't know how to do that. Now I know how to get my stem, so I can't wait to play Survivor because it's gonna make the game funner with my. Yeah, I'm playing Fallen Order again. Okay, yeah. I played the whole game of Fallen Order on 2 stems, so that's a problem, right? So there's a lot of resetting. You got made your own challenge. A lot of respawning that you're doing with 2 of them joints, right?
Yeah, reflexes got to be dope, boy.
Yeah, so I'm on like 6 now. So I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this how you got to play. Say all that to say, Survivor, although it's set in the era of the Empire, is a High Republic game.
It is.
It looked like this.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
It looked like this show, right? Like, even though it's set in this time, this is a High Republic game. Just happened to be a Jedi for us.
The look at, like you said, Dragon, them High Republic robes.
Yeah, just the whole aesthetic.
All the lightsabers are like High Republic. Like,
it's High Republic.
It's High Republic. Yeah.
Hell, even this other, the main, what was the main planet, the hub planet that you always go back to, where Grease's salon was? You know, that main planet.
Man, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That was the High Republic planet.
That was clearly a High Republic planet.
That was
you unlock in High Republic. Yeah, like the aesthetic, the architecture is High Republic, bro. That's a High Republic game. And I think they got another game called Eclipse coming out that's going to take place entirely in the High Republic.
Yeah.
So that's what it's called, Eclipse. I think, yes. Jedi, what's it called? Star Wars Eclipse.
Okay. I never heard of that.
They showed they showed like the trailer like 2 years. Again, it's one of the ones that got delayed. Like, yeah, I think they showed it last year or 2 years ago. But it's like delayed, bro. It's
Yeah.
But that's in the High Republic.
Yeah, this fucking Jedi. I was like, oh,
you need that though. You need Survivor did that though, where you was like, oh, okay, wow, all right. I'm not seeing that in this live action show where it's like you got to separate the two. Like, this is supposed to be the High Republic. This is supposed to be when this is different from the old Republic, and this is different from current day.
Yeah,
whatever. So it's like, show me something. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and that's going to have to happen, right? Because like I'm on the different, I'm like on the side because I'm intrigued. Like as you know, just being old, I'm intrigued by they got me right now with a lot of the themes, so it's making my mind think. Yeah. So until we get to the end, and we're gonna be like, well, they didn't. Then I can kind of come back and be like, yeah, there was a lot of that. Was a steak. It was a lot of sizzle, no steak. It can ultimately become that by the end of it. Like, I'm gonna still need that full meal. I say all that to say what needs to happen. I'm gonna give it a chance. So, but what does need to happen, and I'm giving it a chance. I'm not saying because I enjoy the story of Star Wars. Like I like that it this happened and this happened and this happened. I like the timeline, right? I'm just found I could talk about the timeline every day of the week until then, and 2 times on Sunday or on 2, whatever that term goes. I say all that to say one thing, but that's going to happen is they're going to have to we need to know why or if these Jedi are dope, because then what was their purpose during this time? Were they just because that could be the story, right? Like that's the story of the Jedi. Like I say, without me not knowing what the story of the Jedi during the High Republic is, they had a lot of virtual meetings, right? you get promoted at the job, and all you do is go to meet John, or you ain't really boots on the ground anymore. And this could be a whole generation of Jedis who just really wasn't boots on the ground, right? Where it's like, I watch, and then how do you tell that story and you make that story interesting from a standpoint of seeing it on the screen?